good morning. Welcome. How's it going? I chose the wrong stream this morning. I'm so sorry. Hey, how's it going? My name is Angela. I'm a front-end developer and software engineer in St. Paul, Minnesota. And it was bound to happen after a year and a half of scheduling multiple streams at a time. Today I clicked on the wrong one. So thank you for letting me know that I did that. I ended that stream and I restarted. And actually, I'm just going to make sure. Give me a moment here on the back. I want to make sure um, I want to make sure that this is private. And I will just go ahead and reschedule tomorrow's stream when we're done. So, oopsies. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see here. Okay, good. We're back. Rahul is here. Welcome. Hello, hello. Go Elmo Go is here. Also, Go Elmo, formerly Go Elmo Go, currently Malik Robinson. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, January 6th. It's the fourth day of a 5-day sprint. I'm not really making a big deal about the fact that it's like a 5-day sprint. I'm just literally showing up 5 days in a row in order to get some work done. And I have to tell you, I could not be happier with the progress that we have made on the responsive video gallery redesign. I think of all the things that we've worked on this channel, this one feels the most personal and the most satisfying. And it's because if you don't know the backstory, I've told the backstory a couple of times now. I built the original version of responsive video gallery before I even had my first job as a developer. This was, it was like November, December 2013. I didn't get my first job as a developer until January 2014. And I'm self-taught. Courses, tutorials, boot camps, things like that, they just didn't exist back then. So I was completely self-taught, and that was only possible, and I was very much aware of this at the time. That was only possible because other developers were freely sharing their work, and I was obsessed with open source. I was also obsessed at the time with video galleries. So my first open source project was to make a video gallery and teach other people how to make a video gallery. And at the time, I mean, if you can imagine my JavaScript skills being any worse than they currently are, I didn't know any JavaScript. I knew a little bit of jQuery, so I used jQuery and FancyBox to make this. And of course, we've replaced all of that now. Also, this was not accessible. I mean, accessibility was not even, I was aware of accessibility, but clearly I wasn't practicing any meaningful accessibility because none of this is accessible. So we've rebuilt this entire thing with vanilla JavaScript. We've replaced jQuery and FancyBox with less than 100 lines of vanilla JavaScript, which I think is really remarkable. So I'm very pleased with this. Caffeine Cowboy yesterday asked me if I would update the videos.json, which I did. I have made a decision. I did some like planning and strategy last night thinking about the pro version of this video gallery. And I was thinking back to the early days when I would buy UI elements or templates or static templates to help me in my freelancing, because I started my career as a WordPress developer. So I was building custom themes for my clients and for the organizations and agencies that I worked for. And if I had bought a UI element like this that had a JSON file and a fetch, it would have done me no good in WordPress, because this is something that in WordPress you would do in a template with PHP. And so it got me thinking last night about how this needs to really work for the widest available audience. And the best way to support the widest available audience is to make sure that the data, the markup is all static. I think providing a JSON file like this and showing people an example of maybe a good way to approach this if they decide to do this is a good idea. But I think the implementation itself, even in the pro version, is to make sure that this is static. So it appeals to the widest possible audience, because there are endless frameworks, there are endless content management systems out there. So that was a good exercise last night to really sit and think about how I make sure that I continue to make this appeal to the widest possible audience. And of course, my own experience as somebody who bought things like this early in my career, like that helped. That helped me. That reflection helped, is my point. So with that being said, I went back to my channel and I grabbed the last 12 videos that I posted on my channel to make up this gallery. This could change in the future. I'm also thinking that because I live streamed this process, and there will be 10 videos as a live stream, plus there will be a project video, plus there will be a video on implementation, that would equal 12 videos. So this could change, but for now, I'm just going to include the last 12 videos from my channel. This also solves the problem of if you use videos from a channel that you don't control, that channel could disable the ability to embed their content, right? And we wouldn't have any control over that. The other thing we were running into on the original responsive video gallery is that some of these videos just don't load locally. And I don't know why. I think we sort of suspect that it's an issue with cores, right? Because they all load once they're deployed, which is great. And I didn't have that problem with any of my own content, and I don't restrict any of my own content. So but when I built this, 12 years ago, I didn't have my own content. I wasn't making content. I wasn't recording content. So I think for the new version, the redesign, it makes sense to use my own content, because then I know I have control over the implementation of the content, right? So, okay. Terry Murray is here. Good morning. How are you, Terry Murray? We love having you. HLW ma'am, please bring 3JS. I don't know what this means. So, but Virtue Reason MQ1UT, thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing. Because if you're in the chat, that means that you subscribed and you waited the 20 minutes to chat. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all of the people who do that. And speaking of which, do me a favor, go ahead and like the video. It helps the algorithm, helps get my content pushed out to more people who might enjoy this type of thing. It goes without saying, I think as the channel grows, I'm just going to have to continue to repeat it. And honestly, I'm fine with that. We do all vanilla here. Oh, HLW just equals hello. Got it. So I think this person wants me to teach 3JS. Never even heard of 3JS. Hang on, I have a little spiel, but let's check and see what this is. I don't know what 3JS is. Oh, it's a JavaScript 3D library. 3JS, the 3D model JavaScript library, a framework. Okay, perfect segue. Perfect segue. This is a vanilla channel. I do vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I don't really do any frameworks or libraries on this channel. Here's why. I don't have anything against those things. They're important, of course. You're going to need to know them in order to get a job. Of course, they make work more efficient, streamlined, all that jazz, but vanilla is still important. I do vanilla because I think We have spent so much time over the last, decade talking about frameworks and libraries that we are forgetting to tell new developers and established developers how important vanilla continues to be. And here's the thing. The browser natively renders HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You still need to know it. It's still important, and that's what we do on this channel. So I am not against frameworks and libraries. I don't know React. I used Vue for the last 7 years at my last job, and I've worked on a handful of Angular apps. I've personally built 2 full stack Angular apps, and I've worked on several more Angular apps. And I actually really like Angular, but I've never used React. I've worked on projects I've never worked on anything with Tailwind. I've worked on a handful of things that had Bootstrap and Foundation. I've never built anything from scratch using any CSS framework or library. Never. In fact, I've gotten jobs because I didn't rely on those things. So I get a lot of comments from people who are just incredulous that I don't use frameworks and libraries on this channel, and they assume that that means that I don't actually know how to do any of those things, or that I don't think those things are important, and that's absolutely not true. First of all, this is YouTube, and surely you know that on YouTube you need a niche, right? You have to be really specific in order to find your audience. And I saw a gap in the type of content that other developers were talking about, and I just decided to go with an all vanilla channel. Now, I also happen to love it. I love vanilla. If you even sit and watch one stream, is there any confusion about whether or not that I enjoy what I'm doing? There couldn't possibly be. I also get the comment of, I think people are just, there's so much emphasis on working quick, quick, quick. Get it done. Quick, quick, quick. And there's so much emphasis on that they see me writing vanilla. And they're, again, I'll use the word incredulous because that's how I interpret the comments. They're absolutely incredulous that I would spend the time to do something with vanilla that I could do 10x faster with Tailwind, just as an example. First of all, does it look like I have any trouble writing vanilla CSS? Does it look like I have any trouble getting things done quickly? How many projects have you finished in the last 365 days? I've finished a lot of projects. Does it look like I have trouble getting things done quickly? I don't think so. So that's what we do here. We just practice vanilla because vanilla still matters. The basics still matter. So let's see what the chat has to say. I am Ranit. Says hello. You're going to have to forgive me with the names. I struggle sometimes with the names. Hello, welcome. So happy that you're here. Entertainment is here. Good afternoon. How are you doing so far? I'm doing great. It's 10:30 in the morning here. So me and little Heidi, that's my dog, we're off to a good start today. So GW, I'm just going to go with GW's here. Hello, love from Bangladesh. Well, love from St. Paul, Minnesota, right back at you. I like vanilla. I am learning JavaScript now. I am in quick mode. You can be quick with vanilla too. Does anybody here think that I'm not fast with vanilla? You can be quick. You absolutely can. Okay, yeah, it takes a little longer to write it all from scratch as opposed to just adding utility classes to markup. I'll give you that. But does it look like I don't know what I'm doing or like I can't get things done quickly? Really? And Rahul is responding to Virtue Reason. If you really need to learn 3JS and can pay, then you can buy Bruno Simon's 3JS Journey course. There are free tuts in YouTube as well, maybe not as detailed. Rahul is tuned in to so many things. Rahul and Gogo Elmo Also, Malik Robinson, they are the mods in the chat. They've been here every day for the 5-day sprint. I appreciate you guys so much. You keep things moving forward. And you have such a good perspective. Everybody in my chat has such a good perspective on the work that we do here. I appreciate you all. Even if you are critical of my choices or the things that I do, I still love you. I still love you. Let's see here. I am quick mode to learning mode React. So you're in quick mode learning React. That's great. Entertainment says it's 12 in Virginia. Oh, it's noon. Oh, so entertainment, you're in Virginia. You're on the East Coast. Yeah, I guess it's about 11 a.m. here. It says 10:54 a.m. So technically the stream was supposed to start at 10:30 and we had a little delay. I clicked the wrong stream this morning. So it's lunchtime where you are. Okay, let's get started. So here's what we're going to do today. I was busy yesterday. I had my hands full with some personal business. I did not have time to write the content. My calendar is clear for the rest of today, so I will be writing the content for this afternoon. And I don't think that's going to take that long. What's the other thing I needed to do? I need to get some videos uploaded to Vimeo. I didn't get that done yesterday either because I was at a little bit of a loss of what I should upload. So I kind of need to figure that out this afternoon as well. I feel very strongly about the fact that I include support for both YouTube and Vimeo. I think that that's really, really important, especially since JavaScript wise, it is trivial. Literally, it is trivial to include support for Vimeo. It's literally an if statement with Vimeo specific iframe attributes. That's all it is. It's trivial. So I need to do that this afternoon as well. So those are my 2 tasks for today. Tomorrow is going to be a QA and deployment day. Today we are going to add a dark mode. So we're going to add a toggle for light mode, dark mode, which I'm pretty excited about because I've never done that before. And Rahul said, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, he said, let's do local storage so we can, so the user's preference is remembered. So I Googled this morning. Hang on, I can make this a little bigger. Gosh darn it. I Googled this morning how to save light mode or dark mode with JavaScript local storage, and Google gave me this very tidy little function. So this looks very straightforward to me. This is exactly how I was planning to implement light mode or dark mode, which is to just put toggle a body class dark mode. That's all we're going to do, and then we'll set this with local storage. So I'm excited to do this. We're just going to add a toggle. So then I was thinking, where should I put the toggle? I really don't want to put it in the header. I personally don't think that a toggle needs to be persistent, as in like fixed or sticky. So I was thinking that I would put the toggle maybe right up here, and it'll just live right up here. And again, I don't think it needs to be sticky or fixed. It can just be right here. So that's what I'm going to do. So, oh yeah, and I think you must have typed this in. So yes, we are going to do Vimeo. So hopefully, so yes, we are going to do Vimeo. And Rayhan, I want to say Rayhan is here. Hi there, didn't know you were going live every day. Yeah, I didn't make a big deal about it. I'm doing a 5-day sprint, so day 5 will be tomorrow. So thank you for being here. And I'm Ranit. I want to continue learning JavaScript, you and me both. So yes, I agree, it's a great choice. And let me see here. Is it my internet or is it Angela's stream is getting buffered? Let me check and see my stream health. So it says stream is healthy. Stream settings. On my end, it says that the stream is healthy. I'm not getting any errors or buffering on my end, Rahul. Entertainment says, let's get started. And Ka57 says the padding above the text for column appears a bit more than the padding under the text in the last row. Perhaps increasing the bottom one would be nice. I disagree. I know that I have 3 rems above and 3 rems below. Oh, wait a second. What did you say? More than the padding under the text in the last row, perhaps increasing the bottom one would be nice. Yeah, we can look at that when we do some QA. Here, let's check it. So it's 3 rems all the way around. But I think visually, so something that I learned years ago in a photography class is that the bottom will, even when you have an equal amount of space on the top and bottom, generally on the bottom, it will always look like less space. So we can add a little more space here. Let's put that on the list to check for consistent padding. Where's our QA? So when we do QA tomorrow, we will check these sections for consistent and even padding. So there we go. So we will check that tomorrow. Update data for JSON. Okay, so that's done. Style the SVG play button to each video for accessibility. That's done. Write the content and instructions for implementation. Add a README file. I'm going to do those tonight. And then we need to add videos to Vimeo and finish JS to support Vimeo. There we go. And then add and style a toggle for dark mode and local storage. There we go. So that's our QA list. Excellent. And Malik says the stream is fine for him. So hopefully, Rahul, that smooths out a little bit for you. Rayhan says, how many monitors do you use? One for coding, another for live chat. So, yeah, I have, okay, here, I don't mind sharing this with you. So on this, I have 2 external monitors and I have a MacBook Pro. So on my MacBook Pro, I have YouTube Studio open so I can see, basically I can see a preview of myself, what's getting streamed out. I can see how many views I've gotten. I can see just all the data related to the stream. On this monitor, I have OBS, and so I can see myself in OBS, and I can see the scene that I'm on, and I also see the live chat. And I can click on the chat, and that's how I make it pop up on the screen. And then on this monitor, this is the thing that I'm actually showing you guys, where I do all of the coding. So 2 external monitors and a MacBook Pro, so technically 3 screens. So maybe I'll take a picture. Yes, you are watching a mirrored view of me. Do you know why I did that? I did it for 2 reasons. I did it so when I am looking at this screen, you see me looking at the screen also, right? Have you ever watched a live stream where somebody was sharing their screen and they had their back to the thing they were sharing? That annoys me. Also, when I first started streaming and I saw myself on camera, I feel like I look like Quasimodo. I feel like I look like Quasimodo if I don't see a mirrored image of myself. When I see myself and it's not mirrored, that I just feel like I look lumpy and uneven and like not even myself. It freaks me out. So when I figured out that I could do a mirrored image of myself in OBS, I was like, beautiful. I love it. So there's that. Okay, people are waiting for the actual code. So Angela, let's get busy. Okay, so I'm just going to put, and so here's what I think a toggle is, and I am not going to go look at other examples of toggles or how to build a toggle. I'm going to do it the way that I think it should be done, and then I will go look at other UI elements and see how other people are building them. So just know that if you think I'm doing it wrong, I'm not doing it wrong. I'm just doing it the way that I think it should be done, because that's the whole point of this, is to practice and experiment. So I'm going to put this toggle. I'm actually going to put it right here before the section, and I'm going to put it before this scroll point. So I'm going to make a div, and I'm going to give it a class, and I'm just going to call it dark mode. Dark mode container. And then I'm going to make a button with an ARIA label. And I'm just going to call it dark mode. So are we going to need to change this, the ARIA label? Because I imagine when we click this, so maybe we want to say turn on dark mode. And then, okay, so I have to think about that. When somebody clicks this and they come back to turn it off, do we have to change this to turn on dark mode, turn off dark mode, turn on dark mode, turn on light mode? That's something we have to think about. We might need to update that text when we toggle dark mode. And then I'm going to give this a class, and I'm just going to call this dark mode. And then it's just going to be a circle, so I don't even think I'm going to have anything in here. I'm just going to style the button. We don't need an SVG, right? I don't. I think that's all we need. So I'm going to take this div and I'm going to style it like a pill shape. And then the button is going to be the thing that you click that toggles back and forth. And I'll probably use transform. So okay, and so Rahul is saying options, dark mode, light mode, system preference. So you think that I should be building out 3 different options? I'm not sure what this means. I'm just going to have a toggle. Do I need to put a label on it? See, usually I just see so maybe do we need to do like something that says system preferences? Like this, system preference. Oh, I think I understand what you're saying. The label would change. Yeah. System preference, light mode. And then once we toggle it on to dark mode, it would say dark mode. But I don't want this text inside the button because I want to style the button to be the thing that you click. And this is just going to be the label. Oh, and this is the wrong thing. Maybe I do need to go look at other UI examples. UI examples of dark mode toggle. Oh, I like this. Here's why I like this. Because we can control all of this with CSS. Yeah. Light, dark. Yep. So, what is happening here? Why are you... So we would just say light, dark, just like that. And then we can control this. So we need to make sure that this is in a span. Oh, I already like this. Make sure that this is in a span. And same with this. And I'm going to give this a class, and I'm just going to say light. Thinking about my classes. Let's just do light and dark, just like that. So now, based on whatever the class on the body is, this is very easy to style, and we don't need to change anything with JavaScript or update anything. I do think that we need to update this text right here for accessibility. So by default, the button is turn on dark mode. If somebody turns this on, the ARIA label needs to change to turn on light mode. This button always needs to tell the user what the button does, right? And then let's add another class. So we'll do light and mode, dark and mode. So I've got a way to style these. I like it. Yeah, toggle works too, simple and easy. The switcher looks really good. I agree, I like the switcher. So Yasir says, all my code is correct, but the parallax effect still doesn't work. What could be the problem? I didn't implement any parallax, so I'm not sure what you are referring to. If you can be more specific, I'm going to do a little focus work. If you can be more specific with your question, maybe I can help you with that. So, okay, so there is our switcher. I am going to put this in a wrap. I'm really excited to make this. And I'm glad I looked at one quick little example for inspiration. I'm going to put this in a wrap. I kind of wanted to put the switcher in the upper right hand corner. I don't know if that really matters. I also don't think that we need a header for it. I feel like this is enough. So let's go ahead and style this. Dark mode, and this is the dark mode container. Let's give this just a little bit of padding. Let's just do 1 rem of padding on the top and bottom. We don't need any on, well, maybe we do need padding on the left and right because, yeah, just like that is fine. And then we need this to be a pill-shaped container. So that would be this needs to be outside because I need this container for the pill shape. Yeah. So the div will be the wrap. Now the dark mode container. So dark mode container, can we just do this? Has wrap. Yep, that works. No, that does not work. Am I going to have to add another div? Dark mode container. Has doesn't work. Has represents an element if any of the relative selectors that are passed. Wrap, it's wrap has dark mode container. If the wrap has a dark mode container, then add 1 padding to the wrap. There we go. Okay, now we can style this. Dark mode container. Let's give this a width of 100 pixels just to get started. And we'll give this a height of 50 pixels. And then we'll give this a border radius of 50 VH, which will make it a perfect pill shaped. And then let's give it a border of 2 pixels solid var. And let's make it navy. Let's also give it a background color of white. And then white will represent the dark, right? Ooh, we're going to get to do some really fun transitions. Okay, so far so good. I think it's a little juicy, so let's bring this down a little. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Ooh, but the dark, the spans need to live outside. The spans need to live outside of the container. And we're going to want these spans to be display inline block because right now they're on top and bottom, but we want them to be inline block. So we're actually going to want the spans, this div, to all be inline block. So we might as well make all of these just divs because we're going to have to change it anyways, the display property anyways. So that's fine. So we'll say mode, and then we'll say dark mode container. These should be display inline block. So you get the block level benefit of adding margin and padding, but they remain inline. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. It's a little wide. Let's pull this down a little bit, maybe 75 pixels. There we go. And then we'll give this a little bit of, you could also Flexbox this, but I think display inline block is equally effective. We'll give it a little bit of margin, 0 on top. Let's give it 0.5 rems of margin on the left and right, just to give a little space. It's a bit much. Try cut that down by half. There we go. And then also, let's make this vertical align middle. That is a property that you can use with display inline block. There we go. So that aligns that nicely. So there's light, dark, or the container rather, and there's dark. Now let's style our button. So here's our button. There isn't any content inside the button. So if our container is 75 by 35, we want a nice little circle. So dark mode is the class for the button. Buttons by default are display inline block. Did I change the display property? I don't think so. I didn't change the global display property, so that still works. Let's give this a width of, we don't want it to be as tall as 35 pixels, so maybe 30 pixels by 30 pixels. Height, 30 pixels. We'll give it a background color of, let's just do navy. We'll figure out what all the transitions are. And then let's make sure that this has a border radius of 50%. There we go. And then let's make sure, because it's sitting right at the top, so it's got space around it, but it's aligned at the top. We probably, can we also say vertical align middle? Did that work? Let's see here. I don't think so. Let's make this a little smaller. Oh, it is working. We might also want to say line height 0. I don't know if that has an impact or not. Let's give it a little bit of margin also. So maybe 0.25 rems on the left and right. That helps. So instead of vertical align middle, it might be better to just give it the appropriate amount of margin. If we know that this container is 35 pixels in height and our button is 25 pixels in height, let's just give it 5 pixels of margin all the way around. Does that work? No. Why? Five on the top and bottom equals 10. nice and big. There we go. So our container is 75 by 35. Plus is it because we added 2 extra pixels with the border, but they would sit on the outside, so why would that matter? I have to think about this math. So is it 35 minus 4 because of the border, which would mean that still doesn't make sense to me. And that's not, you can see that there's space underneath. I think it's 3. So if it's 35, hang on, calculator. So if it's 35 minus 4 is 30, 5 minus 4 is 31. 31 minus 25 is 6. So it is 3 pixels on the top and bottom. And Rahul says the stream is buffering too much for me today. Ooh, I'm sorry. I wish I knew what to do to fix that. I apologize. If you need to drop off, I understand. I don't see anything on my end that says anything other than the stream is healthy. So I apologize for that. Let me see here. Caffeine Cowboy is here. Welcome. I'm not well versed in accessibility. Is there a reason for an ARIA label with a toggled description for screen readers? If you need the screen reader, do changes to decorative elements matter? I'm going to answer this question when I'm done. I can answer this question though, but first of all, it's an excellent question, and I am going to answer it as soon as we get this implemented. So, yes, thank you, Malik. And Rahul says, have you used Media Prefers Color Scheme Dark? I have not. I think that is a media query to check the user's operating system preferences, if I'm right, I think. Everything else is running fast. Well, I'm so sorry that that's happening. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, so this is the math is mathing. So we have a height of 35 pixels, but we added 2 pixels on the top and bottom with the border. So really the height is 31 pixels because we added these 2 pixels of border, which means that the button has 3 pixels on the top and 3 pixels on the bottom in order to center it horizontally, or excuse me, vertically. Plus I'm just going to give it 3 pixels all the way around. And now we have, so that math is making sense to me. This works all the way around. And then do we need this line height? I don't think we need this line height. So I'm going to take out the vertical line middle, and then we're just going to go ahead and put margin 3 pixels all the way around. Okay, what just happened here? Do I need the vertical align? What just happened? Oh, right here, it's because I forgot to change this. Okay, 25. There we go. Okay, so when we add dark mode to the body, I'm just going to go ahead and add it. Just going to add the word dark to the body. So when we add, here's our button, dark mode. Let's also set, we'll say transform, translate X. We're just going to go ahead and say 0. Then when we have dark on the body and then dark mode, we're going to transform, translate X. Well, we want to move it from the left to the right, which is a positive number. The width of the container is 75 pixels. The width of the button is 25 pixels. So let's translate to the right 50 pixels. I don't know, we'll have to play with that value. Okay, that's clearly too much. Let's try 35. I think that's still too much, but we'll fine tune it. So I'm going to come up here and just delete dark. And then I'm just Control Z, Command Z to undo and redo. But that's that. And then we'll do a transition. We'll animate it so it's nice and smooth. Transition, transform, 300 milliseconds, and I'm going to do a linear transition just so it's a little smoother. And then let's try 40. We'll fine tune. That looks pretty good. What do we think? Let's make sure. I think 40 is pretty good. 41? No, I think 40. I think 40. Okay. So now I want to move this over to the other side of the page. So let's zoom back out. Whoops. Zoom this back out. So I need these things to all be I don't know, does it matter? There's 100%. Honestly, what I should probably do on this wrap is Flexbox it because I'm going to have more control over the alignment and the gap. And I can get it over, I can flex end it over to the other side. I think that's going to be a better, way to handle that. So I'm going to take this out, this display inline block. And on the wrap, I'm going to say display flex, flex flow. We want it to be a row, no wrap. Justify content, flex end. Align items, center. and we'll give it the same gap, 0.25 rems. Yeah. Now it puts it over where I want it. I also think that we don't need padding on the bottom. So we'll say padding on the top, padding on the left and right, 0 padding on the bottom. And yeah, we're definitely going to have to adjust some of our spacing, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to give it actually a little more space, a little more gap. There we go. Okay, let's do our click event. I'm going to take out dark. And we're just going to say toggle dark. And okay. So we've already got our body defined. I'm going to copy this in, but I'm going to make a couple of changes. I'm actually going to do something similar to this. I'm going to say const is dark equals, and then I'm going to say if is dark, theme dark, theme light, and I'm just going to toggle the word dark on the body class. Right? Yeah. Wouldn't it be wild if it really was that simple? Oh, I suppose we also need to do the... Oh, we have to do this too. We're not getting the element by ID. We are getting this dark mode. So this is query selector, dark mode, add event listener, toggle dark. So I don't think we need this, right? Or do we? Or I think this needs to be down here. Right? Because it has to be initialized on DOM content loaded. Let's try it. Cannot read property of add event listener. Don't tell me. Document query selector dark mode, add event listener, toggle dark. kind of feel like, should this be its own function? Let's just do this. Equals. The toggle equals the right? Yeah. Oh, and this goes, I think, inside. This is the way that I understand how to do it. So, in my very rudimentary way of writing JavaScript. So we should see this toggle now, and we should see the body class. There we go. Beautiful. So now we just need to write our CSS. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. Okay. So now we just need to write our CSS to actually do the color changes. This is the absolute best approach, in my opinion, when you're doing things like this. Just do a click event and add a class, toggle a class on the body. It is the easiest way to do these things. You don't need to add a million classes. You don't need to make a bunch of changes with JavaScript. Let the CSS do all the hard work for you. So, look at that. It's so cute. Look at that. Oh, so now we have to check and see if it's being remembered with local storage. Close a couple things here. Okay. So if we toggle on dark mode and I close the browser, I'll turn off, then I'll go live again. Seems like it didn't remember. How do we test that? Check local storage on page load. It would appear it's not remembering. How do you check local storage? Check local storage on page load. When the page loads, use JavaScript to check if a preference is already stored in local storage using local storage get item. If a preference exists, immediately apply that mode before the user sees the page. Oh, so we have more stuff to do. I think we have more stuff to do. We have a function to apply the saved theme on page load. Saved theme, local storage get item theme. If saved theme equals dark, document body classless add dark mode. Optional, add an else if for light if you use light mode. Okay. And then implement the CSS styles. So yes, my caching is disabled in Well, in only in the dev tools, but it wouldn't be disabled here. But I think there's an extra step here. So and this is going to be just dark. So it is remembering. It's doing the transition. So maybe we want to speed up that transition a little bit. So maybe instead of 300, we could do like 150. So we're going to see this, but I don't know. Is that the end of the world? You can add your toggle function. You can add in your toggle function the local storage code. Did I do what you... I think there's a delay on the stream from when you see me. Did I do what you were thinking I could do? Oh, I bet we could... I think you mean this. Actually, yep, that works. Good suggestion. Thank you. Thank you, Rahul. Good suggestion. Actually, I mean, if Rahul, if you hadn't told me to even do the local storage thing, I don't think I would have done it. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Good suggestion. Okay, now the fun part, our CSS. Now the fun part. And we already have kind of a dark mode version that exists on the site, right? Which our navigation is kind of already dark mode. So I'm not going to change this at all, but this is kind of like a good little map of how we want things to look. So, and I like that we have our switch over here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and just if you're concerned about the layout or how things look, we're gonna do a full QA and check padding, margin, spacing, evenness. We're gonna do all of that tomorrow. We did the bulk of the QA yesterday. We actually found some really good bugs with how the dialogue looked on mobile. So I'm feeling very, very confident about this site and the things that we caught and fixed yesterday. So I feel like the QA that we're going to do tomorrow are just like nice little finishing touches. So, and then Rayhan is asking, is Nightbot a real bot? It is. So Nightbot is an open source free chatbot. So yeah, Nightbot is a real bot. So we love Nightbot. We especially love that it's free. So, okay. We love free things, right? Look at our little, look at this. I just love it so much. Okay, Angela, focus. So we're done with our JavaScript. Here is our dark mode. So what's the first thing that we would do on dark mode? We would change the dark mode body styles. So we would want to change the color and the background color. So I'm just gonna take this and we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna go from top to bottom. We're just gonna go from top to bottom. Oh, we don't need this much stuff. So that's number one. Ooh, oh, dark. Whoops. Why are you not? Oh, I didn't actually change the colors. Angela. There we go. Wow. What the heck? We have colors. Did I already do that? Yes, because we already have some dark mode, light mode styles that we hadn't implemented yet. Where did we do that? We did that. We did that up here. So wait a second, am I reusing dark section, light section? I don't remember doing this. Oh, you know what? This color is doing that. So here's the other thing that I'm wondering. This container, should this entire container be the button? Because you can only click on the button. Should you be able to click on the entire thing? I'm not sure. And Rahul says, I would give a better JS implementation, but the stream is lagging and I am watching on mobile. I mean, I don't know. I think it looks, I'm happy with the implementation. So, you know, the JavaScript may not be perfect, but I understand it. And that's kind of what I care about right now, is that I understand it. So does the toggle take the system preference into account? No, it doesn't. There was a suggestion to use a media query that does take the system preference into account, and we can look at that tomorrow. I'm gonna work on styles today, and we can definitely look at that tomorrow. I am wondering though if if this entire thing needs to be a button. I don't know. Okay, so when dark mode is on, what else do we want to change? I think I want to change the background of this container to dark, I'm going to make it, although this is accessible, right? If I change this container to dark, that's not accessible against a dark background. So I don't think I'm going to change anything with this. But also maybe I need to look at some more examples. And then let's change whether or not these are bold. That's the only other thing that I'm going to change. So light mode, by default, light.mode by default will be bold. Dark.mode by default will not be bold. This will be a font weight of 600, and then dark.mode by default will be a font weight of 400. And then dark.light.mode will be a font weight of 400. And a dark.mode will be a font weight of 600. And that's not a very big difference. It's no difference. So we've got light.mode, font weight 800. Oh, I bet we don't have a font weight for, what is this, Lustria? So let's actually change the font type for the mode. So let's change the font type. Yeah, Lustria only comes in regular. So we'll change this to Montserrat. That's fine. So if we change this to 400, then I don't think we need to have that default value, but we will need this default value. I think 800 is too much. And I'm going to give this 1 pixel of letter spacing. There we go. All right, what else needs to be changed? Let's start with the header. Kaz says maybe a sun SVG that switches to a moon SVG. What do you think? I mean, yeah, I kind of like it. Let's make sure that the entire page is changing appropriately, and then let's make sure that and then we'll do some refinements tomorrow when we do QA and deployment, right? We can do some more refinements. But I like the idea. I like where you're going with it. Okay, so if we are in, so the thing is that we've done some styling that is like light versus dark already, because we had a gray background for some of our sections. So we're gonna have to we don't have to redo anything. But maybe we need to change, maybe instead of dark section, light section, we say gray section, white section to be a little more semantic, right? So let's do that. Let's just update the default value. So it's not so confusing. So instead of a dark section, it's a gray section. Gray. And then instead of a light section, do we have any other light sections? It's a white section. And then in our styles, this would be gray. I don't even think that we need to say background color white, because I think since we have a background color on the body, we don't have to specifically define this. We can just say something is gray, right? We're just adding gray sections. And I don't think we need to have, I don't even think we need a light or a white section class. It can just take on the body color. Content sections. I mean, really, maybe just the sections need these styles. I feel like there's a better way to so we've got section and there's styles specific to that. Well, maybe we do. Maybe that is just the easiest way to deal with it. There we go. And then a gray section would change from, if it was in dark mode, is it just less gray? So a gray section, instead of being light gray, what is it? So our black right now is 222. What's a dark gray color that is still accessible with white text that maintains that every other? Okay, let's check the color contrast checker. Color contrast. So if our foreground is white, so here's our default black. Okay. So it fails for normal text. Okay, we can try this. So this would be our, I didn't even think of this. Oh, we do have a dark gray here of 555. So we'll adjust that a little bit. It's just slightly darker gray. What do we think? And then we need to adjust our links and we need to deal with the header. Or we could make this navy. We know that that's accessible and it is an accent color. How does that look? I'm not really a super fan. I didn't even think of this with these gray sections. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I love this gray. But we do kind of need something to separate. That might be something that I have to think about overnight tonight. How I want to handle, maybe instead of I don't know. I'm going to have to go out and look at some UI examples of how it's so boring. So it needs something different. It needs like some texture, maybe a gradient. Yeah, maybe a gradient would work. I'm going to think about that. Let's work on our header and our links. So first let's deal with our links. This is turning out to be a lot of work. So dark. Let's look at our header styles. I just want to do the exact opposite of what's happening in the header. Oh, I guess I said I was going to do links first. So we'll do links. So here's our global link styles. So we don't need to worry about this. We need to make sure that we've got dark here. So I think we just change it to white, right? Which means we probably don't need this. I guess we do need this. That works. Okay, so now we need to deal with our navigation. So let's figure out where our navigation link styles look. So really it's going to be exactly what we did inside of the wrap, right? Inside of our, pretty much everything that we did inside of our drawer, we can just copy for dark mode, right? So here's all of those styles inside of our media query. Here's the link styles. And then here's the SVGs. So let's start with this. So we don't need any of this. And let's make sure that our header has a background color of white. So we'll make sure that that. Whoops. All right, so now let's make sure that our social media icons. See, the great part about this is that all the work has been done. We just have to apply it to the dark theme. That's it. So here's the social media icons inside the media query. So I think we can just take these right here. It's pretty specific. It's pretty specific, but that's okay. It's totally appropriate, I think. There we go. Okay, so these by default do not have the underline. The underline is on hover. So I want to fix that. Yeah, it's getting the global styles. So I think we just need to text decoration color transparent navigation A. So I think we just missed a style here. Yep, transparent by default, white on hover. There we go. Now let's make sure that our SVG here, our navigation SVG, main nav SVG. I think this is what we need right here. And then we need to make sure our buttons, we have our SVGs and our buttons styled. Here's the social nav, social. we go. All the work has been done already. Yeah, I really don't like this gray. It's ugly. It's grimy, isn't it? And then we still have this sort of slight box shadow here, but obviously it's a dark, it's basically a black box shadow with alpha transparency. Let's change it to white, a white box shadow with alpha transparency. I don't know. Will it look good? Will it look bad? So this should be white. Why didn't you change? Oh, maybe you did. There we go. Look at that. So we still have our little box shadow. I like it. What else do we need to do? Oh, I think we need to make sure that this right here, this toggle. So let's make sure that's I think that's the last thing. So this is the open button and SVG. Right here. So here's our open button and SVG. So I'm going to take these. Oh, and I'm also going to take this. All right, so what do we need here? Whoops. I don't think we need the transition. So the background color is still going to be transparent. We might not need that. Don't need the width or the height. I don't think we need this transition either. So this is going to be white. The background color on hover will be white. This will be black, the SVG. Yeah, I don't think we need this. It's already by default transparent. There we go. Let's also put a box shadow. Oh, what did I do here? Let's also put a white box shadow on the menu if it's dark. We'll do that, but first let's fix this. So this is the close button. dark menu button SVG. So instead of saying menu button, let's say open button right here. So this should be open button. And then that should, yep, then that. There we go. Okay, now let's put if it's dark mode, I don't have a box shadow on the drawer because of the contrast. I don't think we need one. But if my drawer was white, I would put a box shadow here. So let's add a box shadow to the drawer when it's dark mode only. So here's the drawer. So dark navigation, we'll just go ahead and add that box shadow right there. We'll just say box shadow, and it's 1 pixel on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis, 1 pixel blur, 1 pixel spread, RGBA, and it's going to be 255. 255, 255 for white, 10% alpha transparency. There we go. So we have a little bit of separation there. Subtle, very subtle. I like it. Oh, what else is hang on, something else is happening here. Oh, it's on, we have to make sure that this is in the media query only. So I think we're going to have to put this inside a media query. Yeah. So the open button is desktop. The header, the links, the sections. So yep, this needs to be in a media query. Oh, but does this need to be in a media query? The social media stuff doesn't need to be in a media query. This doesn't need to be in a media query. I think it's just this does. I think it's just this. So maybe the better approach to just add it to the media query that we already have, just for that one thing. That might be the better approach. To just put this in the media query that already exists for dark navigation. That's what I'm going to do. So here's our media query for the navigation. So let's just do this. Yeah, I have some decisions to make here, don't I? I have some decisions to make about I like it for the most part, but I didn't do any I didn't, the only thought that I put into this was the button and the fact that I was going to put dark on the body. That's the only thought that I put into this. I didn't really consider how dark mode would actually look. So the work has been done. I just have to make some style decisions. That's really it. We have that little animation on click, but we don't really have a big delay. You can see a flash. The gray is so ugly. Let's see what the chat says. Rayhan says, I just realized right now this is a mirrored video. When I saw you scrolling the mouse with the left hand, I've been trying to figure it out when you mentioned it earlier. Yeah, it's mirrored because Quasimodo. I just don't, I feel like I look so weird if I'm not mirrored, and OBS lets me mirror, so that's what I do. So is that Monakai Pro theme? You mean in VS Code? I don't know. I don't, let me see here. So I use this plugin, this extension called Base 16 Themes. It might be Monakai. It might be. Yes. It's a holdover from my Sublime Text days. I was a Sublime Text user for many, many years before VS Code. So, and AMD Gamer says, wow. Welcome. Thank you. Ka57 says, the text for column is brighter than the color of the website logo in dark mode, or am I bugging? Well, I mean, it's pretty bright. We could change, I mean, we could, this is pure white, right? We could change this to a very soft gray. That's, I mean, that's an option. So instead of white, well, let's just try it on the body class. So instead of white, we could do this light gray, which is F8. It might be a little softer. Where's our dark styles? Body dark, light gray. Could be a little softer. I'll push this up. I'll make sure that I get this pushed up so people can. And Mustafa says, you can try these colors for dark theme sections in your variables. Okay, I'm gonna make a note of this, and I'm gonna test this. I'm not gonna do it right now, but I just took a screenshot and I'm going to test it because I'm going to think about it a little bit tonight. Can't the media query be nested in the class? In Sass, yes. Can you nest media queries in the class in vanilla CSS? I'm not sure. In Sass, you can do that. I don't know if you can do that in vanilla CSS. You maybe does. I think vanilla CSS does allow some nesting. I personally don't do any nesting in vanilla CSS because the dev tools don't. Because there isn't a map, and the dev tools won't show me that code when I do the nesting. So that's why I don't do that. I want to go back though, Caffeine Cowboy, to the question that you asked. You said, I'm not well versed in accessibility. Is there a reason for an ARIA label with a toggle description for screen readers? If you need the screen reader, do changes to decorative elements matter? Okay, I feel like this is a two-part question. I'm going to start with the first part. Is there a reason for an ARIA label with a toggle description for screen readers? I kind of feel like you're actually answering the question. The ARIA label is here because, oh, and we need to change this language too when we toggle. The ARIA label is here because the screen reader is going to come to the button, and if the ARIA label doesn't exist, people won't know what the button is for. There's literally a screen reader will not be able to tell the user why this button exists if there isn't a label here to tell for the screen reader to read it out. If you need the screen reader, do changes to decorative elements matter? Oh, I think what you're asking is, if somebody's using a screen reader, why do they need to toggle light and dark? Because they probably can't see it. Yeah, that's actually a great point. You're not wrong to point that out. Should we ask ChatGPT? We haven't asked ChatGPT anything today. Let's ask them. Okay. I implemented a dark mode, light mode toggle on my web page. I added an ARIA label to the toggle button saying that it's a toggle. I think I know what ChatGPT is going to say. Not everybody who relies on a screen reader is completely sightless or blind. I suspect that it's going to tell us that it is still a best practice, even though this is a really good question. If the user relies on a screen reader, do they care about light mode or dark mode? Can they even see that change? Short answer, no, they don't care, and no, they can't see it. Screen readers interact with the accessibility tree, not the visual layer. When you flip from light mode to dark mode, you're only changing colors on a screen. The underlying text markup and structure stay exactly the same. A blind user using VoiceOver or NVDA gets the identical experience in both themes. From a pure screen reader perspective, dark mode toggle is invisible, light mode toggle is invisible. The color change has no semantic meaning at all. What they do care about is the label and purpose of the control. Your ARIA label should communicate the function, not the visual result. For example, instead of saying ARIA label toggle button light mode dark mode toggle, better to say something like ARIA label toggle color theme or ARIA label toggle dark mode. Those tell a non-visual user what the button does, even if they never benefit from the visual effect. Yeah, I mean, you still need to explain what the buttons are for and what they do, even if they never benefit from the visual effect. One more thing to consider. Many screen reader users are not fully blind. Low vision users absolutely can see the change and often prefer dark mode because high contrast light themes can be painful. So the feature matters to that part of the audience, not just the users who cannot perceive color at all. So this is what I suspected that they would say. Does that make sense to you? I think that Caffeine Cowboy, that is such an excellent question and something I hadn't considered. So I think this is just a really good point. And let's just keep this nice and simple. Toggle dark mode. Turn on dark mode. How about we'll just say toggle dark mode, and then we don't need to change anything. Just toggle dark mode. That's all that that needs to say. Yeah, that's a great question. The chat brings up so many good points that I never think about. So, um, okay. So I have some homework tonight. Um, yeah, I have some things to think about tonight. So functionally, I think that this worked perfectly. Like I said, I clearly just didn't plan um, things related to the design. Yeah, so I have some stuff to think about. Okay, well, what does everyone think? Let's look at our QA list. I'm just going to say that this is done, even though it needs some refinements. So I need to write the content, add the README file, which will be a mirror of the content. Check the section. We'll check sections tomorrow for consistent and even padding. Let's go ahead and deploy this. And let's deploy this and see how it actually, yeah, we need to deploy this and make sure that this works on iOS or on any mobile device, right? And it's going to be in our best interest to check some other browsers, which I haven't been very good about lately. Git commit. So let's give that a second to percolate, and then okay. Let's see how things look. One moment here, and I will share my screen. All right. Well, it appears to be working. Oh, wait a second. What's happening in the footer here? So our social media icons. Okay, let's see what's going on. We might have just missed a media query. We did. Oh, because they had a separate class for the footer. That's why. Um, okay, think about this. So these are the social media icons for, I don't think we need this. I don't think we need this. Okay. I know this is just a class or something. Um, yeah, it's okay. Social nav. Okay, yep. So 378. I think we just forgot some. Did we? Wait a second. Social nav anchor SVG. Oh, I think I social nav anchor SVG for dark. Yeah, it's here. Why isn't the browser's not reading this? Fill social nav anchor SVG. Um, is this in the wrong? No, it's not in the wrong order. Is this inside? No, it's not inside a media query. What am I missing? So it's working in the header. It's just not working in the footer. Wait, did I miss something? I didn't do anything specific with the footer. This is all working in the header. Social nav. Do I need to add? Okay, do I need to add, hang on, social navigation? But the class isn't more specific than that, so why would that matter? Social navigation. We're in the footer. It's a nav element, social navigation. Social nav. Oh my God. Thank you. I didn't understand what this meant until I saw this. Thank you. You know what? It happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. There we go. I would have figured it out eventually. And you know what? I've done that more than once in my career. So, nice. Well, this problem has officially been solved. So, thank you. I saw your comment, Rahul, and I was like, I don't know what that means. So, okay, we'll go ahead and push this one more time. Removing the navigation is all we needed to do here to make that work. So, all right. Okay. I think, whoops. I think that's good for today. Yeah, I'm going to try a couple different variables for the gray sections. I purposely didn't go out and look at other examples of toggles, and now I really want to. So now I really want to, because I want to see how other people are implementing it. I want to see where other people are putting the button. I want to see if that entire pill shape needs to be a button. That's the thing, because right now the only thing that you can click on is the circle. The circle is the button. And I'm questioning if the entire thing needs to be a button. Other than that, I think that this works great. We just have to smooth out some styles, right? That's it. That's all we have to do, is adjust some of our styling. And I'm personally happy with the JavaScript. I know that there are folks in the chat, Rahul, who have a lot more experience with JavaScript than I do, but I really like what I wrote. I do. I really like what I wrote. I'm proud of it. It's not perfect, but I understand it. Yeah, I understand it. So I like it. Excellent. So I'm going to do content tonight. And Malik says, I've done the same thing. I make sure I never have both sites open. Yeah, better, easier said than done. I've said the same thing to myself many times. I still get myself in trouble with that. Yeah, the tab for the toggle is a little weird since it's just the actual circle. We can adjust the markup tomorrow. That's easy enough to do. So it might be a good idea. And then we just put everything inside the button. So, yeah, so I have quite a bit to do tonight, which is perfectly fine. I have nothing on my calendar for the rest of the day. I got nothing but time. So I'm going to get all of my homework done tonight. I'm going to go out and look at some other examples of toggles and we'll refine those styles tomorrow. And then tomorrow we deploy. And then I'm really excited to start working on the pro version of the responsive video gallery. I'm planning to do, I think, 4 additional layouts, including vertical video. I don't want to give too much away, but there will be a demo site for the pro version. And yeah, I'm just really excited to implement all of my ideas for the most part. I am so happy with what we came up with. I think it looks so good. This is a very personal project to me. So it means a lot to me that it looks good. It functions well. No jQuery, no fancy box, all vanilla, super clean. I think it would be easy to implement in any framework or CMS situation. Rahul's saying no Vimeo. You don't think I should do Vimeo? I'm planning to implement Vimeo, but you don't think I should do Vimeo? Because I think I should. I think it's actually really important to have that option in there and have it be seamless. Or are you just mentioning the fact that I didn't say Vimeo? It's on my mental list. So, but if you don't think I should include Vimeo, tell me why. I would love to know why. So, do me a favor if you're new here. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet already. If you haven't liked the video yet, go ahead and like it. Helps me get this pushed out to more people who might be interested in this type of content. My little channel is growing nicely. I have big plans. I meant I was waiting. Oh, you were waiting for me to say Vimeo. Got it. It's on my mental list. So we're definitely going to do Vimeo. Yeah, so do me a favor, like, subscribe, do all those YouTube-y things. The channel's growing really nicely. I love being on YouTube. I love streaming. I'm here every weekend. I'm adding weekday streaming in 2026. So yeah, there's plenty. There's plenty. Good work today. Thank you. Yeah, I thought this was really fun. So, okay, we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 5 of the 5-day sprint. We're going to get this thing deployed. Everybody, have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Thank you to Malik and Rahul, the mods in the chat. I appreciate you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.